All right, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva. I am here once again to do another review and discussion of last week's episode of The Quad, Season 1, Episode 5, Mule Bone. Now, as it turns out, this particular episode is titled after a play written by Harlem Renaissance greats Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes. And let's just say that this play was a point of contention between these once best friends. After writing this particular play, they were no longer friends. As a matter of fact, Zora put her name only on the play after the collaboration, and Langston was like, hold up, wait a minute, that ain't right. But Mule Bone is some sort of satirical Negro comedy that they wrote. It's a conflict between two men over a local townswoman. One man gets banished from the town after a hearing is had because they got into a fight over this girl. They end up being friends again at the end of Act 3 of the play. And so I'm trying to figure out how that relates to this particular episode of The Quad. But I don't know. Oh, and before I forget, because YouTube wants, in order for me to increase my shareship and viewership, I need for you all to like, a comment, and subscribe to this channel if you have not already, okay? And again, I am behind on my reviews. I'm still trying to get acclimated to my new virtual classroom. As many of you know who follow me, I teach an online class for a university. So I just have not had time. I'm like 2 episodes behind on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So please forgive me. Those are coming. I'm also going to just do one complete review of the last 3 episodes, or Being Mary Jane. So I just want to plug that in there. But back to The Quad. Now, as we left off in the last episode, we know that Sydney, Dr. Fletcher's daughter, has come to the revelation that the star athlete of the football team, the quarterback, Terrence, is in fact the person who raped her on the video that was shared campus-wide. A lot of conflict, a lot of conversations are to be had. I'm glad that this episode came out because now we understand the things that people are saying about rape and how people perceive rape. But before I get too deep into the heavy stuff, I wanted to comment briefly about my favorite white chocolate on this show, Bojan, honey. Shout out to Jake Allen. Because this is the lighter side of it. So there is a young woman who is the campus news reporter and blogger, Taisha. I said, all right, Bojan, you know Big Tex, your daddy ain't gonna let you bring home no little chocolate girl, not no little Negro girl to his house, honey. He ain't trying to have no little mulatto grandkids. But hey, get it how you feel. I said, poor little Becky Sue, she's still down there to the damn gas station pumping gas for a living, thinking little Bojan gonna come back. Actually, she gave up on him, and he probably like, well, hell, I ain't got to worry about her no more. Let me get with this Taisha chick. Y'all, her name Taisha. His daddy really gonna fall out. But Taisha rolls up on him because she's like, I want to know what really happened after the football game. And he was like, we won, we went and partied, that's all. Because, of course, he's not going to be part of the conversation. He doesn't know what his teammate really has done. Also, they have a moment spending time hanging out in the dorm room, playing Madden or whatever it is they were playing on the video console. They decide after hanging out they're going to go to a movie, but I don't think Taisha realizes that Bojan's kind of sweet on you, girlfriend. And so instead of them going to the movies by themselves, the homeboy going, they had a great time at the movies, but Bojan is being standoffish and just kind of offsides. And she like, what's wrong with you? Why you all up in your feelings? You didn't eat your popcorn, you didn't eat your Raisinets. And he was just like, oh no, it's nothing, I'm good. Later on, they're at a party. Big dude that went with him, he talking about everybody gonna do body shots. I said, Lord, see, that's how stuff happened. Y'all already done had somebody allegedly raped on campus. Y'all don't need to be doing no damn body shots, okay? Nobody else need to catch a case on campus. So, in the end, I think that Taisha and Bojan may actually be a couple because she notices that he is scoping her, and she is most certainly scoping him, okay? All eyes on me, okay? All eyes on me. let's delve into it. Let's get into more serious matters. What I liked about this episode is it gave both perspectives of the alleged victim and the alleged perpetrator. And of course, I speak in those terms because, as y'all know, I have a background in law, so I tend to kind of think still in that capacity. But you cannot tell me, based upon that video, that she was down for some rough sex like that. And especially after examination, we learned that there are vaginal tears, okay? So, I mean, it can happen during consensual sex. But what I did appreciate about this is that she showed up at the frat house and dude Miles took it off to the side and said, look, freshman, we ain't gonna have this, going on. We trying to keep our damn chapter here at the campus. We ain't trying to get kicked off because your little drunk ass and came up in here acting hot to trot. But it turns out Miles seems to be a little sweet on her. And so there's a moment when he kisses her, but for the rest of the party, he just kind of ignores her and starts hanging out with the other girls, which is thus why she ended up hanging out with Terrence. So Terrence, he like her, but then Sydney notices that Miles ain't paying attention to her. She's like, I'm going to blow this party. She leaves. Terrence is like, oh, let me walk you home. Let me be a gentleman. Girl, you should have said, just say no for real. Because this fool said, well, since I was being all chivalrous, I think I deserve an award. Nucka, ain't nothing good about a reward for what? You get a kiss on the forehead, a kiss on the cheek, a hug. How about a hug? And that church hug where we arch. Okay, we arch our booty back. We don't need to be touching and bumping. No, we don't. But needless to say, one thing leads to another. Sydney was inebriated. And based upon both sides, he said, she said that she wanted it. She said, I didn't want it. And then he gonna get out the bushes talking about, oh, you a wild one. And she crawling out looking all decrepit, looking like something that done crawled out the damn swamp. I said, what the hell? You thought that was consensual in your mind. And the coach is looking at him while he's telling his side. And he's like, oh, okay, son, I believe you. So he decides to carry Sydney home. How chivalrous of you. You've raped the girl, violated her, so it would seem, based upon Sydney's story to her mother. And you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to get her home. But she has a revelation as the alcohol starts to wear off. She's like, this mofo raped me. And she starts screaming in the dorm. Some other dude walks in. He says, yo, make sure she get home. I was like, oh, you are such the perfect fucking gentleman, So this is where this is where it starts to get murky. Several people did see them leave from the party. I don't know what these people can say about it, but I mean, it looked like they were just all coupley and chummy, but okay. Also, a pause for advice. Young men especially, if a young woman is under the influence of anything, the best thing you can do for her is to make sure she gets home safe and let that be that. Be it that it's an Uber, you take her to her front door, make sure she get in the house and lock it, but walk away. Because part of the problem, the lines blur when there is anything that can cause your rationale to be blurred. Alcohol and drugs. Some people can say yes and really mean no. So I suggest you just say, I'm going to be good. I don't need to catch a case and be a registered sex offender for the rest of my life. Sydney has to go through what most rape victims are subject to when they choose to report it or choose to do something about it. She has to go through a rape kit. At first, she wanted her mother in the room. Then she decides that she doesn't. And it can be confusing because it's like, oh, shit, I did want my mama in here, but she just asked me if I was sexually active. She's like, not right now. I said, yeah, girl, because you're on the table. But she doesn't want to go back into the story details, but eventually she kicks her mother out the room. That's when Dr. Diamond, who we know the band director, his ass sick, damn near dead to the bed. I tell y'all he gonna end up in a damn Color Purple scene, he messing around with that little side piece. I said, and she gonna be like, they're gonna be like, how he died? And she gonna be like, on top of me. Cause he ain't, I don't know, he probably got about a good 3 months, because they say that the cancer has metastasized in his lungs. But what was interesting about this is that Dr. Fletcher is making a phone call and walks out, and she looks and sees him and sees oncology. And so he makes himself known to her, because she was just going to try to play it off like, I didn't see Dr. Diamond. Hey, how you doing, Dr. Fletcher? I just wanted to, say hi and let you know I'm here for you and your daughter. And she was like, oh, well, thank you. How you doing? I hope everything's like, oh, yeah, I was just getting a physical at the oncology office. Your doctor, well, I guess you could. He a doctor. You can get a physical anywhere. But I think that Dr. Fletcher knows something is terribly off. Dr. Fletcher is pissed and livid. She wants Terrence off campus. The university attorney has advised her that they can't remove him from campus because, they have to do an investigation, which is true. In addition, we learned that he does have a prior sexual assault case that was dropped because the girl recanted. But at the same time, it's just the fact that you were accused and now you have someone else accusing you of sexual assault. That's when Dr. Fletcher gets pissed and she goes and confronts the coach. Not to mention the coach has already had a bad day, because in the midst of a press conference, everybody talking about the wins, baby Miss Taisha, give a dog a bone. She was on there. I got this question for Terrence. What's up with those rape allegations? And that's when the conference had to be over. He was like, coach talking about, we can only talk about the game and football. I'm like, no, we need to talk about your star quarterback being a daggone sexual predator. Let's talk about that, okay? Terrence has told his side, we know, to coach. Sydney told her side to her mom. She's getting the rape kit. Dr. Fletcher wants him off campus. Campus lawyer says no. Investigation has to be done. One of the Atlanta PD or somebody comes by to see her. That's how she learned about the rape allegation. She goes to confront Coach about it, and Coach says something that I'm just like, Coach, really? He's like, do you think I would let him on the team? I got 2 girls I care about, and I don't want my girls to get hurt like that. And he looked me in the eye and told me he didn't do it. Sociopaths are very good at lying, especially narcissistic ones, because they all tend to be. Come on now, Coach, you smarter than that. He lying, Coach, he lying. So now you have the star football player being terrorized by women, or he feels terrorized. No, he need to be ran out of town on the real. But, they're confronting him as he's getting out of class. Sydney, I want to encourage Sydney to log off of social media. She's reading all these things about people saying that she really wasn't raped, like the quarterback would really rape her. Now, what's interesting about this social media post is that there's a roundtable during the episode where it looks like probably it's just a bunch of freshmen, or I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a peer counseling group or something, but it's being conducted by a professor perhaps. And, she's asking people, do they know what rape means? When someone don't want to have sex with somebody, it means no. Or having sex without someone's consent. Because men can be raped too. People often always equate women with being raped, but men can be raped too. And it's less likely they would report it anyways, because it tends to be another man that tends to rape them. So, unfortunately, some people still live in 1890. Well, the 1800s, and think that bucking is still a good idea. Not without my consent. No, we will not. So what I found interesting about this roundtable is that the guys seem to think that because of Sydney's bad prior acts, which we have to bring into question, which I know if this goes to trial will definitely be brought into question as far as her character, that, she gets drunk, she does all these act outs, she participated in a strip poker, she damn near died in the frat house from drinking too much. all this is going to come out. And they were like, the guys were like, she's a thought. And somebody was like, oh, so a hoe can't be raped too. I was like, God, dog, okay. Some people said she did it because she wanted attention. Somebody said because Terrence is a star quarterback, he doesn't need to rape anyone. But one of the things that they didn't point out and what people don't realize about rape or any type of abuse, it's about control. It's not about what you can get. It's about what you can get away with. Why do you think that people do date rape drugs on people? It's not because they can't. It's because they can. And it's a control matter. One of the things, little tink, Anika, that's her name. I was calling her Noni because, you know, we got Anika Noni Rose playing Dr. Fletcher. But y'all know Noni, the little band rat. She basically said something very powerful. She said, bad judgment doesn't make rape okay, and prior acts do not equate to consent either. So I thought that was pretty powerful for someone like her. I said, well, look at little Tink Tink. She done crawled. I guess she didn't die in Dr. Diamond's ass after all, as Ebony wished upon her. People also pointed out the fact that there's a bias that in the prior years, the only reason Sydney's case is getting any type of attention and being investigated is because of the president's daughter. One of the things I wanted to point it out at that juncture is that that's right. That was last year. This is a new year. Dr. Fletcher is here cleaning house. And it doesn't matter if it's you or her daughter. I mean, just think about what she did for Cedric Hobbs, trying to make sure that he got out of jail for being arrested for a crime he didn't commit. So it's a new dawn. It's a new day. Speaking of which, Nina Simone. This episode opened up with The Four Women by Nina Simone, which I learned was not very well received by society at the time in which she did it because they said it was racist. Basically, it was a song about four different women telling their story. The song starts out with this nice little drum beat. It's slow. My skin is black. My hair is... I forgot how it goes, and then each line, there's four stanzas, and it basically says, you know, my name is Sarah, my name is this, but the very end, it closes out with, my name is Peaches. And I was like, oh my God, I used to think she was saying Geechee until I saw the words, but either way, it's a powerful song. It was for empowerment and to talk about the struggle of the Black woman in America. And I thought that was very appropriate for this particular episode. Sydney, in dealing with this rape and what is typical behavior for anyone, is that there's a sense of being ashamed, a sense of wanting to be alone, blaming yourself, pushing away perfectly good people. Her roommate Madison, that's a good friend right there, because she is truly Sydney's ride or die. Sydney done packed up all her stuff and is moving to a mama house. Madison talking about, I'm gonna come too. Saying, I want you to come. But guess who she ends up calling in the end? Madison. So Madison's a pretty good friend for her. Now, as you all know, who have been following this particular series, Sydney has always had a smart ass mouth towards her mother, and we're just like, God dog, Sydney, you need to be backhand slapped. You need to be knocked into tomorrow. Turns out that when Sydney was a young kid on the playground, she overheard her mother tell her father that basically, you need to come take care of your child. I'm trying to study, and you need to come take care of the child that I didn't even want, because you know I didn't want kids. Could you imagine being a child overhearing your parent tell you that you're not wanted? That too would cause me to resent and hate my mother as well. I'm not saying it's right, because we should all respect our parents, but at the same time, now we understand. But I think as time has matured, I think at the time, Dr. Fletcher was trying to get her graduate degree or something and was just really frustrated and said some things that just weren't appropriate. And Sydney has resented her since day one for that. But I think that's all we've got. This upcoming episode is going to be interesting. Dr. Fletcher, as you know, cheated on her husband with a graduate student, and now he wants to get paid. As you know, Dr. Fletcher, it has been known that she comes from a family of great wealth. And although he is now a self-made wealthy man himself, he want to cut a pie too. But Dr. Fletcher said he ain't getting shit. More to come with Sydney's rape allegations. So we'll see how this plays out. But again, I was here for this episode. Now, Just briefly, because I'm not going to give away this movie. First of all, Burning Sands on Netflix. This is a movie that discusses the pledge process, or the alleged pledge process, from a perspective of someone that obviously was brutally hazed. But it covers that ugly side of Greek organizations. And it's not just Black Greeks. The traditional ones are just as complicit in it, just like the bands. They do some hazing things too to the freshmen. So we see a guy. What is his name? Z. What was his name? It was a weird name, but Z is the main character. The movie is told from his perspective, and he is online pledging this fraternity. And of course, they have to do all these things for the big brothers. If you've ever saw A Different World, remember when what was his name? Dwayne's Ron. When Ron was pledging, he had to do all these things for his big brother. In the opening scene, it was very, they were in the woods doing some sort of session, and it got a little violent, and one dude was like, fuck this shit, I'm dropping line. It's Hell Week is what they're going through, and all they have to do is get through Hell Week, and especially Hell Night. And so this particular thing started going on that doesn't set well with Z, and he tries to not confront, but go confide in someone who's already a member, who did recommend him for the fraternity, but he finds out he really doesn't have an ally. Now, they say humiliation builds humility, but I'm pretty sure there is a better way to do that than what happened. First of all, the bruh that they had on there that was like one of the big brothers, I said, first of all, he couldn't even pledge me, because I don't respect any man that's got breasts bigger than me. Y'all, dude's breasts look like some flicked cow udders that had been drained of all milk. I said, what the hell is this? How can we respect him? And so in the end, the way that it ended, we were all like, I said, I feel like this is the ending of Nocturnal Animals. Like, what really happened? Did everybody cross? Did everyone survive Hell Night? Or are we all just going to sit in the hospital and hope that our line brother makes it? Well, some people tend to say that this was negative. I mean, to me personally, it was no different than school days. Let's not forget the school days. Pass the pussy. Pass the pussy. Pass the pussy, or Stomp the Yard. So to me, it was kind of a culmination of those. I liked it, but I could have done. But either way, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode of The Quad. Also, if you did watch Burning Sands, please comment down below and let me know. And please, to anyone watching this, I am a part of the oldest sorority, historically Black sorority, and I can assure you that not us, not any of the Divine Nine, not all of us engage in that behavior. It's just that every now and then you get somebody that's a wild card in the group, and they got control issues and want to beat and abuse people. I mean, we have anti-hazing policies in process. Please know, because one of the things we worry about when things like this are presented and a discussion is not had is that people will not want to be part of these organizations. And these organizations do a lot in the community. They do a lot of good. It's just that there are a handful of bad in each organization. So please know that Burning Sands is just a representation of the most extreme. Okay? But that's all I've got. Thank you guys for joining. Probably by the time y'all get this, we will be on episode 6 of The Quad. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I've been Miss Sophia the Diva, and you have been all that. Thank you for joining.